Um, Yeah, I'm pretty much. Yeah, this is probably gonna be the only thing that stays, like, unprivate on my channel. Um, I don't know. Nobody watches, like, my videos. Like, nobody watches, like, my long form videos. Just run it right through. Nobody watches my long form videos, and nobody really watches my live streams. But, I don't know. I want to talk about it. So, if anybody, like, cares or whatever, I don't know, you may have noticed that I privated, like, all my videos, all my shorts, all my live streams, like, everything. Like, I've privated all my long form videos, everything. And I'm not quitting YouTube. I think that, like, I want to make that clear. I'm not quitting YouTube. I don't want to quit YouTube. Basically, like, I mean, since I was like a little kid and everything, I've been on the internet since I was like 12. Like, I've been online longer, but I've been on the internet since I was like 12 years old. Um, which might not really be the best time for somebody to be like, you know, on the internet, but I've been on the internet for years. Um, and I mean, all I ever really wanted was some kind of community or people who were interested in like the stuff I write or anime and stuff like that. I've always just kind of wanted people who were interested in the characters I made. Um, I guess like as everyone does. But I wasn't allowed to make a YouTube channel until hold on. When did I make this account? Until like 2020. No. I wasn't allowed to make a YouTube video. I wasn't allowed to post on YouTube until like 2022. So by that time, so in 2020 I was like 12, right? Yeah, I was like 12 in 2020. So I was like 14, I think, when I started this channel. And obviously my brain hasn't fully developed. I'm not an adult, but I'm an adult now. And I've gotten to a point where I don't like what I make. Like I don't like the stuff I'm making. I always see a lot of artists who are just like objectively better than me, and I have a very strong belief in the idea that the only thing that makes certain things like good or bad, the idea of like good art, is like a view that is just capitalism. Um, call me a commie, call me a socialist. I don't care. In my opinion, the only reason there's an idea of what is good art and what is bad art is the idea that all art has to sell. All art has to make money. And that art is good art. But I don't believe in putting price on creating. I don't believe in that. But it's still frustrating when you know you're not in a place that you want to be artistically. Um, I have like a few videos and stuff where I kind of show older art. I have sketchbooks, like, I have been drawing my whole life. And I do mean that. I have been drawing my whole life. Since I could hold a pencil and since I could hold a crayon, I've been drawing. And I hate that I still feel like I haven't done enough artistically. And like I said, I don't believe that there's good art, and I don't believe that there's bad art. But I'm at a point where I look at what I've done, I've looked at everything, all of the years that I've poured into trying to get better at art, digital, traditional, all the stuff that I've wanted to do, and I look and I think to myself, I am not proud of it. I'm not proud of what I'm making. I don't like my art. I'm not at a level that I want to be at. I'm at a level that I feel like doesn't, in my opinion, reflect the years that I've been working on this. I feel like I haven't developed my skill in the way that I want to develop it, and it's disappointing for me to see that my work isn't up to my standards. And when I made this YouTube channel, I was hoping to build a community. Because, again, that's what I always wanted. When I was like 12 and I first made my first ever account on anything, it was an account on Wattpad where I roleplayed as a character. And I did talk to a lot of people. I had a community. Everything about me at that point was built on lies, and I feel bad because there was maybe one or two people who actually knew anything about me. And I really do feel bad, lying to a lot of people online, but I always thought that it was for my own safety. I don't know why I'm jumping on that. But now that I'm older and I don't feel like I need to lie anymore, it's hard to build a community. I'm not saying, like, obviously I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I'm such an underrated artist. I'm such an underrated artist. Like I just said, I don't feel happy with where I'm at artistically. I feel like I somehow messed up. I feel like somehow I have failed myself, and that devastates me. It really does. Um, but when it comes to like the thing of building a community, like this is honestly just kind of me venting out a lot of frustrations and stuff, and complaining about who I am as a person. So I guess if you don't want to hear me complain about myself and how things are, like yeah. Give me a second. Um, so the reason that I really wanted to like build some kind of community, and I guess to some degree kind of find a place, on the internet, is because I have kind of always struggled to keep friends, like making keep friends. Um, that's a me problem. I know that, I really do. All of this stuff is me problems, but I have always struggled to make and keep friends. And like as I've gotten older, I have like no friends. I have maybe 3 friends. Um, and even with my friends, I only really talk to one. Um, like regularly. So shout out to Pookie anyway. But I have kind of always struggled to make friends, and I have kind of always felt like I was on the outside of everything. I had friends, I had community, I have always talked to people, like I have always had friends. Or I had always had people around me, but I always felt like somehow I was outside of that. Um, I always felt like everybody knew stuff that I didn't. Everyone knew things that I didn't know. Everyone was in on something, and somehow, if I missed one thing, I would miss everything. I had FOMO. And it only got worse as I got older, and stuff actually did start to happen like that. And because I had always kind of felt like I was outside of every group, obviously when I got old enough, it did lead me to wanting to find community online. The problem is I struggle online too. I can't make friends online. Because I'm paranoid, I guess. I'm scared that everybody is gonna hate me. I'm scared that I'm a bad person. I have a lot of stuff going on for some reason. Um, and am I crying? It's not that serious, jeez. But for me, talking one-on-one with people scares me. Like, to no end, it scares me. And so I struggle to, and when it comes to online, I can't really talk to people privately. Like, I can't privately talk to people and expect them to fully understand stuff. Like, I always feel like I'm misreading them or they're misreading me, and I feel like I can't hold a real conversation through DMs and stuff like that, and I feel like at some point I run out of things to say, and I feel bad because I never really meet people who have the same interests as me. I meet a lot of people who have slightly similar interests, and then that's about it. That's, like, kind of where it ends. So then eventually, like, it's like, I run out of things to talk about, and things kind of just stop. And so YouTube was kind of a last minute, like a kind of like last ditch attempt to try to, build a community. Because I figured if I can have people that I kind of talk to, if I have people who, I can kind of converse with, whatever, people who, I don't know, like my characters, like my storytelling, and I don't have to worry about embarrassing myself, having one-on-one conversations where I'm a complete loser, and I struggle to do that. If I can have that type of community, like, maybe I can be okay. But I haven't really been able to do that. I feel like I don't post consistently enough, and I worry that I don't make content that is engaging. I don't make content that's engaging. I don't make content that's interesting or anything, and honestly, I mean, I'm afraid to post my characters and my stories. I don't know why I want people to like it. I don't know why I feel like I need people to like my stuff, but I do. And I also am terrified to share stuff because I'm scared that, like, I mean, I'm scared to tell people my characters' names because I'm like, what if they know somebody with that name? Like, what is happening in my head that's a thing that I think about? Do you know what I mean? Like, why would that matter? Um, Another thing too was I wanted YouTube. I had wanted to be a YouTuber since I was like a little kid. You know what I mean? I had wanted to be a YouTuber since I was like maybe, I mean, I started watching YouTube, I mean, since I was maybe like 7, 8, 9, around that age. Again, not great or whatever, but, that's just how it is. And I wanted to make, like, gotcha videos. Honestly, embarrassing. Shut up, shut up. I was a gotcha kid, if you couldn't tell. I feel like people can tell, but I was a gotcha kid, and I wanted to make gotcha videos. But I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't allowed to have a YouTube channel till I was, like, 14. But I had always wanted YouTube for discipline. So that I knew, like, I'm gonna make a video, I'm gonna make an animation, I'm gonna make art for this, I'm gonna do this. And I never did. I see trends kind of show up and die pretty quickly, and it's frustrating. I can't animate that quickly, I can't make art that quickly. I'm not to the level that I want to be at. And it's so frustrating for me to keep pushing myself to post things that I'm not proud of. And I know people will say, well, still post anyway, or like, well, you post stuff you're not proud of, so that when you're proud of stuff, I don't know, people always just say, get over it. But I don't want to. I can't keep posting stuff that I'm not proud of, because it's just gonna frustrate me. I don't want to check out this house. It's gonna make me annoyed with myself if, oh my gosh, this is so cool, what? Hold on. Anyway, sorry. But it's gonna make me, like, annoyed and frustrated if I post stuff that I'm not proud of. It's gonna make me feel bad. Because I look at that art, I look at all this stuff, and I think, I'm not up to standard. There are people who are, like, 10 years old who are better than me. Like, almost, there are people a decade younger than I am. Which, first of all, is crazy for me to even say. I didn't think I would be here. I didn't think I'd make it to this age. But, there are people like a decade younger than me who are so much better than I am. And I honestly, that's amazing. I am so glad that in this era of AI and people like doing those types of things, thinking that typing in a prompt makes you some kind of artist, I am so glad that there are still kids who want to make art. I am so glad that there are children and teenagers who are looking at art and saying, I am going to get good at this. I'm gonna do this. That makes me so happy. It does. But to me, it sucks when I see somebody who's younger than I am, who's so, so, so good, and I think to myself, I have been alive longer than they have. I've been making art since before they were born, and I'm still worse. Everyone gets better at their own pace. Everyone, I do believe that. But for me, I can't believe that I'm gonna get better. And until I get to a point where I'm happy with my art, I can't post it. It's gonna make me sad. It's gonna make me miserable because not only am I posting art or just any video, whatever, like if I'm posting anything and I know, like, I'm bad at it, it's just gonna frustrate me. I'm gonna feel bad about myself. I'm gonna look at all these other people and think, wow, they're so good. And I'm not anywhere near their level. Like, basically, what I'm trying to say is, I'm still gonna make videos. Um, I'm still gonna make art. I will never give up making art. I mean, it's part of who I am. But I'm not gonna post videos publicly. If anything, I'm probably gonna try. I'm gonna I'm gonna really hardcore grind on like figuring out how to animate, like my style, how to do it generally. I'm gonna really hardcore go on that. And then once I get to a point where I like my animation, I like my art, my digital and traditional art, then I'll start posting again. And I don't know how long, like, I'll unprivate everything that I privated. I'll unprivate all the videos that I made that I never made public. But I don't know when that's gonna be. I I don't know when that's gonna be. It could be a few months, it could be a few weeks, it could be years. I don't know. And I don't want people to think that they have to stick around, whatever. Um, and this applies to my Instagram too. Nobody cares, nobody likes me. Anyway, I'm kidding. I like me, and that's all that matters. But, like, you know what I mean? Nobody likes me enough to follow all my little things. Unless you're, like, my IRL friends, which, creepy. I'm kidding. But, like, I, I made, like, a post on, or, like, a story on Instagram about how I'm not gonna be posting on there either. Um, I don't yeah, again, I don't like my art. I don't like my art. I don't think that I've really built a community. Like another thing is I'm in a lot of communities and circles that are younger people, and I don't feel comfortable like interacting with younger people. I mean, obviously, I watch a lot of like YouTubers who are younger than I am because I like their art, but I don't like interacting with people who are younger than me. It makes me uncomfortable. Not that I don't think people younger than me should watch my videos. I feel like a lot of my videos are not really for kids. I feel like a lot of my videos aren't really for kids. Not a lot of the stuff I create is for kids, and looking back, a lot of the stuff I've been making hasn't been for kids since I was a kid. I've been this edgy since I was 12. What a nightmare. Well, I mean, obviously, I was a Wattpad user. But basically what I'm trying to say is I like in on that specific topic, I don't mind people younger than me watching my videos, but there are some that I don't think children should be watching, and I try to age restrict them when I can. Um, for the most part, if anything, I would say my channel for me is more comfortable at like 16 plus maybe. Um, 14 plus, 16 plus, whatever. But yeah. But like a lot of the circles that I'm in consist of younger people, and well, I would love to make friends in a lot of the circles I'm in, the art circles, like I'd love to meet other also humans. I'd love to meet like other like people who make like dragon puppets. They're mostly teenagers, and I don't feel comfortable being friends with teenagers. Because to me it's like it's weird. Maybe it's just me, but to me it's weird and I don't feel comfortable with it. So it also like does suck when like you're in a lot of smaller communities or whatever, but you can't really make friends with anybody because you're like I'm not weird, I'm not weird enough to be like, "Oh, let me talk to a 14-year-old." Like, ew. Yeah, I feel like this has just become a ramble about a lot of different things. Um, oh, my voice feels so like my voice sounds really bad to myself. I don't know if it sounds bad on video or live. I hope it doesn't. But basically, like I've basically gotten to a point where I don't feel comfortable posting my art. And in a world that we're like the world we're getting to where I want it to be clear, like, because I was talking about how, like, I'm happy that kids are still making art, even in, like, this rise of AI and everything. It's not about AI for me. It's not about AI. I mean, obviously everything will always piss me off about that. But when it comes to, like, the specific situation, the thing of, like, me not posting art anymore isn't in relation to that. Um, it is, like, literally just because I don't like my art anymore. I was this jump scare. I was really proud of my art for a while. I kind of like I don't know if it's obvious, but my art I will let my art look at how sad this is. Not a single like basically not a single person because nobody's in my age range. How lame. Anyway, basically like this is I mean, I feel like it's obvious this is unscripted. I don't know why I would do a scripted live stream, but whatever. Um it's just, like, I go through phases of my art where I do and don't like it. Sometimes my feelings are more or less understandable, and sometimes my feelings are, like, yeah. Sometimes, like, the way I feel about things obviously don't dictate the truth of the matter or blah blah blah. Truth is subjective. Feelings, I mean, feelings are subjective. Whatever. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into philosophy or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, like, whether or not you think it's justified for me to feel bad about my art, I do, and I really have to get to a place where I feel good again. I have to get to a point where I look at it and I think, wow, I want to post this, instead of, wow, I have to post something for the algorithm. Not that I seem to really care. I mean, honestly, I barely post anyway on anything, but yeah, I knew it. Sorry. The age chatting thing pisses me off. But, like, yeah, I've gotten to a point where I don't want to make content that I'm not happy with, because it's just gonna make me miserable. It's gonna make me so upset. I want to make things and think, huh, this is good. I want to make it. Like, or I want to post it. And I'm not at a point where I feel that way. And I don't know when I will be. That's honestly it. I don't know when I'll be at a point that I feel happy with myself again. Um, until then, I feel like I'll probably stream still because I like to hear myself talk. I feel like I've talked about that. I like to hear myself talk. Um, but also because I feel like streaming is fun, in my opinion. Nobody watches my streams, and I can just say whatever I want. I'm kidding. I don't say whatever. Okay, but you know what I mean. I feel like for me, streaming is fun because I can just play a game and talk about whatever's on my mind, and I like to do that. Um, but when it comes to shorts, YouTube shorts, or long form videos, I'm not making those. Not until I do feel happy with what I'm making. Not until I look at my art and I think, like, again, like, oh, I want to post this, not, oh, I should post it for the algorithm. Um, and yeah, like, I don't even remember what I've said already. I legitimately cannot, I remember the basics of what I've said. So I don't even know if I'm talking in circles. But yeah. Um, TLDR, I am not posting until I actually feel, like, happy with my art again. Um, I'm really grateful for, like, all of the people who have watched my videos and who have subscribed, and I feel bad because I feel like I don't post enough content for that many people to care about what I'm saying or doing. Um, but I don't know. I'm I'm always active on Tumblr. That's it. I'm really only ever active on Tumblr. Um, consistently. But I'm active on Tumblr and Evil But Refined. I post about podcasts if you like podcasts. I post art sometimes, but not really anything OC related, mostly fandom. Um, I posted a lot about my interests on Tumblr, and I feel like a lot of people only uh, follow me because of my fandoms or whatever. I don't think anyone cares about my OCs anyway. Um, I used to be active on DeviantArt, and I would say that I'm still active on DeviantArt, but because they no longer use app, like, they don't use the app anymore, and they only use the website, it'll be harder for me to post on there, but I may occasionally post on DeviantArt, and I mostly post OCs, but you can find some Object Show stuff on there, if you like that. And I mean, that's really it. I feel like I'm gonna be participating in Art Fight this year. I don't know if anyone cares, but I am gonna be participating in Art Fight this year. My account name for that is Jorts and Wet Socks. So I don't know if you want me to draw your character, I will. Even on that, I don't like making my characters public. I've gotten to a point where I'm really insecure about everything I do. Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, I've gotten to a point where I'm really insecure about everything I do, and I really don't like myself. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure that I gotta make sure that that my microphone is on, because if I've been talking for like like an hour and it's not on, I'm gonna actually start tweaking out. But like, um, yeah, I'm honestly really just very like paranoid about everything I do and say. And okay, yeah, sweet. Um, I'm really paranoid about everything I do and say and all the stuff I post on the internet, and I really do feel like if stuff isn't up to a quality that I like, I'm gonna be like, I don't know, attacked. Um, and maybe it's obvious that I feel that way, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure, but I do feel that way, and I don't know, maybe I should go back to therapy, but I'm not gonna. I'm not going back to therapy. Yeah, you know. But yeah, this has just been a long ramble to say, like, all of this. And honestly, nobody's gonna watch this. Nobody cares. I'm not really famous or liked, a lot, you know, people don't know me. I'm not popular enough on YouTube for people to notice that I edited all my videos. I'm not known enough on YouTube or even Instagram, whatever, for people to notice that I deleted almost all my Instagram posts. And it's just it, you know? But I still felt like I should make this video. I felt like I should make this video and I should just kind of make it obvious. Like, I'm not permanently quitting. This isn't a permanent thing. It might be, I have no idea. But it's just until I feel happy with myself again and I feel content with where I am artistically. Yeah. Um, I really feel like there's so many tangents that I was trying to go down, and I don't remember like any of them. I swear there was. Anyway, there wasn't there? Hold on. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like, oh, I was talking about what I'm active on, I guess. Yeah, jorts and wet socks on Art Fight. Hold on, I can probably pull it up. Ignore everything you see. Okay, I am. What the? I don't think I have anything incriminating on my laptop. I feel like there's a lot of shows. I have like a lot of shows. Um, like I have like a lot of websites that I like watch shows on. That's about it. I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone. So yeah, my ArtFight account. The freaky vacations. Who are you? Who are these people? What are these people? Who are you? Hold on, my bad. Sorry, I'm reading some random person's, um, what the heck? Oh no. Googling, help me. Sure, I'll follow you back. Who are you guys? Really, who are these people? Sorry, I got jump scared. Why are there followers? What? They're freaky. Are you friends with one of my friends? No. I have one other friend who plays, or who does art fight. Hit list. That's crazy. Whatever. I'll follow you guys back. I don't know these people. It's freaking me out. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be like. I'm so hypocritical. I shouldn't be like, oh, if you want me to draw your characters or whatever, like, oh, oh, you can follow me on Artfight, and then I'm actively freaking out over strangers following me on Artfight. I don't even have an interesting profile. I privated all my characters. Except Critter. I love Critter. I do love Critter. I don't know why Sorry. Yeah, jorts and wet socks. One word. Run-on sentence. No cap. Yeah, if you want me to draw your characters, that would be cool. I really like drawing people's characters. A little tangent, I guess. And yeah, I post on Tumblr a lot about my interests. You should go to my Tumblr. I talk about gay people. No, I don't. Yes, I do. I mean, when you talk about podcasts, you're talking about gay people. So yeah, um, it's really fun. You should totally. I'm kidding, but yeah, I feel like it's burnout. I guess it's burnout, but it's a burnout I've been experiencing for years, and I just haven't wanted to acknowledge it, or I just haven't felt like I should acknowledge it because every time I see people, I feel like normally when I see people go on breaks, I'm like, oh, well, this person posts like every day. They deserve a break. I don't post like really at all. Maybe like once every few weeks. And I feel like to me that means that, like, literally, this is so depressing. Sorry. And I feel like to me, like, it makes me sad because, like, I'm not making enough content, but I don't want to be making content. I don't like what I'm making. And it doesn't feel good enough to be posting at all. Um, I also, honestly, I really don't like making posts about, like, interests. I like to keep that to Tumblr. I feel like I wanted my YouTube to be about my characters, and I do post about my characters, but I feel like I don't post enough about them that people care. People don't care about my characters. People don't care about my characters. They don't care about the stories I write, and I'm not discouraged by that. I'll still always make characters and write if I remember to, because sometimes I just kind of like don't, and I don't want to sometimes, but you know what I mean. Like, sometimes I want to write, and sometimes I don't. But when it comes to writing, my storytelling has nothing to do with whether or not people like it or not. You know, for me, I just like to write. I've always liked making stories too. My first story I wrote for PBS. You know, I wrote a little story for PBS because they were doing a kids contest. Yeah. And I've been writing, I mean, like, I think I've talked about it. My oldest set of characters I've had since I was like maybe 9 or 10, or no, since I was like I don't know, somewhere between like 10 and 12. My oldest story was a Pokemon fan fiction. Um with like OCs and stuff. It was bad. It was really bad. I'm not kidding. It was bad. But anyway, yeah. I'm gonna like I said, I'm probably gonna make a ton of videos still and then just keep them private until like whatever, but yeah. So that's basically it. I'm sure there's more that I wanted to say, but I don't remember.